Yo, what's good with y'all? It's Key Major and I'm back with another video for y'all today. Today I'm showing you guys how to make some hard emotional beats for Lil Baby. So let's get straight to it. So for this beat, I did use a sample that I made. So before I get into the drums, I'm gonna just quickly run through how I made the sample. Alright, so here's the sample that I made. Alright, so that was just a quick little preview of the sample that I used in the beat. Now the first song I used in this sample is Easy Keys. And then I just downloaded the vintage upright one, and then I went to the standard preset and I laid these notes down. So first I just started with the root note, which was C, and then I copied it up an octave, and then I copied it up another octave. So that's the basic pattern that I started with. I just took the C and I pitched it down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I pitched it up an octave. And of course I copied this over for the second half, and then I just kept the C playing over and over. And for the last part I just pitched it up 2 and then up 1, just to give it that like emotional feel and just so it's not so repetitive. Then after that I added these notes on top. And then all I did is I just kept adding on top of that other notes that I've already used down here. So as you can tell, all the red notes align with the purple notes. All I did is I just pitched it up an octave. As you can see, when I copy the pattern over and I do Alt Y, all the notes match up correctly. So I didn't even do anything new. All I did is I just copied it over and I just flipped it. And then for the top, I just added this very catchy pattern that I already previously used down here. And then lastly, I did Alt S to strum the notes, and then Alt R to randomize the velocity so it sounds like someone's actually, playing the piano. And then for the effects, all I did is I added ambience reverb, which is a free reverb, and EQ, taking out all the lows, lowering a lot of the high mids. After that, I added expand and I added the 21 legato tremolo. This is inside the strings folder. But yeah, other than that, it's just this very simple pattern, and it's just copied over for the whole thing over and over. A very simple, repetitive pattern. For the effects, I have ambience reverb again. The first EQ is filtering out the sound a ton, so it's taking out all the lows, taking out most of the highs, and lowering some of the harsh mids. Second one is kind of doing the same thing, lowering the low mids and lowering the highs that were still left over. And that was basically it. After that, I added these strings right here. Now these strings are actually from the exact same pattern I just showed you. All I did is on the effects, I added a halftime and I added this gross beat preset. It's just like a gross beat gate. And then after that, it sounded like this. So I exported that and then I reversed it, and that's how I got this string right here. The second to last sound is this one shot from Nami's Chapter 1 pack. It's called the vocal loop, and I just dragged it in and I made sure it was on key. Yeah, it's basically just that one note repeating over and over and over. But other than that, for the effects, I just added ambience reverb again so it wasn't so dry. Pancake, so it's panning hard left and right. And then EQ, taking out all the lows, most of the mids, and filtering out the highs so it could sound a little more like vintage. Then the last song I added is from Omnisphere. It's from this Omnisphere bank right here, and it's from Max Shooter, called the Victory Bass. And it's very simple. I just went through the root note, which was C, copied it over, brought it down 4, just up an octave. And that was basically it. But in the second half, I did chop up the piano. All I did is I selected stretch audio and I grabbed the tail of it and I stretched it, so it's basically halftime. On the master, I had this EQ just cleaning up the sound. There's a lot of mids, so I lowered the mids. I raised the highs for it to sound more clean, and I lowered the lows just so the bass wasn't taking over the whole thing. And then lastly, I put a sound shifter on here and I pitched it down one note. Then I exported that, and then the final sample was done. other than that, let's go straight to the drums and finish this video up. So now we're in the other FOP, which of course all I did is I drag and dropped the sample in here. For this beat, all the drums I use come from my boy Evan's new drum kit with Chase. It's called the Nocturnal drum kit. It has literally almost every 808 you need. I mean, just look, there's like so many 808s, there's so many claps, effects, hi-hats, kicks, midis, open hat, perk loops and textures, rims, and snares. Look how many snares there are, bro. If you guys want this drum kit, it'll be the second link in the description down below. It has all the drums you need. And like I said, this has been my go-to drum kit for a minute. You guys are gonna see it in this video, all the sounds that I use. The first sound I started with, Spins 808. I just copied the root note of my sample, which here it says it was B. So I copied it onto B, and then for the second half, I took it down 4 and then up an octave. And then I added some little rolls right here to give it more bounce, but I didn't want it to take over the 808, so I just lowered the volume. And same thing over here, I added these 1/3 rolls at the end just to kind of end off the section and, you know, just give it more bounce and more uniqueness. Next, I added the AKA clap. And I added this priority snare. And I just laid it out at the end of every couple bars. The Juco hi-hat. For these rolls, I just highlighted a note and I did Alt-U to bring up the chopper. And for the other rolls, I went to the 1/3 step and I would just click them in with the brush tool. And then lastly, I just added a couple of open hats and just little perks in the background. And I just used the wick bell. All I did inside the bell is I put cut itself, and then I laid a note down, and then the second one I just turned the velocity all the way down. That's how I made it like cut. For the effects on any of these sounds, I didn't really do anything because they already come perfect. Like, you don't really have to EQ them or put any other effects. Only effects I added is on the bell just because I wanted some ambience and a delay on it. Lastly, I added this telephone riser. And that was basically on the master. I had the same soft clipper from the melody. All it's doing is the threshold is at 13, so it's cutting the sounds down, and then the post is turned up by 90, so the beat is a lot louder. Before I play the final beat, if you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys leave a like and comment any video ideas. It's very important you guys subscribe. We're about to hit 3K very soon. But yeah, I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram. It's at the bottom of the screen right now. With that being said, see you guys in the next video, and this is the final beat.